and then I'll go through what you should and should not check out. So stay tuned. One of the things that's become very clear to me being here in Maui is that for folks that are shooting more on just like an iPhone, the biggest tip I can give you is to main things, and then I'm gonna talk about things that you should do if you're on a budget, and then I'm gonna talk about things that you can do if you're not on a budget. So lucky you. We're in Maui. Man, this is pretty amazing. Just driving around the island. It's so green. Clouds are beautiful. Everything about this place is beautiful. Point of this trip, we're gonna talk some photography. We're gonna talk about places to visit, recommendations. So it's gonna be a whole lot of vlog style video. And then I'll go through what you should and should not check out. So stay tuned.
from their #1 predators, which are orcas, killer whales, the #1 predator. Sharks really don't go after any bad whales unless it's
Man, we are in the 3rd day. I haven't done a lot of talking, just been busy trying to enjoy. One of the things that's become very clear to me being here in Maui is that the island is definitely bigger than I remembered it. And it's not very easy to say, here are the top 5, you know, you see the influencers. It's not really like that. If you are in Wailea, where we are, there's the top 5 things to do there. If you're in, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, there's a bunch of different places. And the biggest thing that I've noticed while being here in Maui, 2 biggest things. Maui's really expensive. It's not like when I've traveled to other places. Maui is actually really, everything about Maui is more expensive, which makes sense seeing as it's an island. A lot of things gotta be, you know, transferred here and you pay a premium for that. Gas prices are even, you know, they're about the same as California, San Diego, so go figure. And the second thing is that in the west, the northwest side of the island is significantly wetter than the south end where we're at in Wailea. So we haven't had any rain, but up by in that area, and I'll show a little map here, there's been a lot of rain. We were there yesterday and then within 10 minutes it started pouring. Then we just drove south, gone. We went on the whale watching tours you guys saw. Also very much a must do while you're here if it's in season, and no rain at all. It's kind of amazing how different these like microclimates can be. So stick around, still got a bunch of things to show you guys, and then we'll wrap up the video with more recommendations, things to do, you know, things to know, so that you enjoy your trip here in Maui. Stay tuned. A photography tip I can give you guys when you visit places like this is to take your time. As you guys saw driving up, the clouds were moving very fast, and that was the same way at the top. Clouds are moving very fast. I had compositions in mind, but I had to wait for the clouds to clear to be able to take the shots.
Haleakala National Park. My name is Ranger Cadian. I have Maggie over to my side, right over there. She's one of our interns. Haleakala is a very special place, not only for its endemic and endangered species, but also for its importance to the Native Hawaiian culture. Native Hawaiian culture is still living and thriving today, so that is that is what makes Haleakala so special, is that we do get a lot of Native Hawaiian practitioners that come to the park and practice their hula, their chanting, and their culture, as well as some of our great native species like our nene. The nene bird is the rarest goose in the world. You're only going to find them here in Hawaii. And also our native honey creepers too. We actually have 6 honey creepers that you can see here at Haleakala National Park. They're located around our Hosmer Grove area. If you ever do decide to come to Haleakala National Park, we have these great bird brochures, ta-da, that tells you all about our native species and the different birds that you'll see here. You can also check out our website. All of this information, oops, very windy today, is located on our website. So definitely check us out on the Google. And then Haleakala is what's known as a shield volcano. So we're not a composite volcano, so we don't have that large violent explosions and eruptions like composite volcanoes. We typically tend to bubble up slowly and then spill out.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're actually considered active even though we're dormant. So we don't have a lot of volcanic activity happening anymore. We are dormant. But geologists say there's still potential for that to happen. Our last known eruption was down in the Wailea / Kihei area, and that's the south side of the island, an area called Laperouse. And that last lava flow eruption was anywhere between 400 to 600 years ago.
Wow.
Up here at the summit, the last known eruption at the summit was about 8 to 1,000 years ago.
An absolute fail snorkeling at Ulua Beach. I think the rain had made the water a little bit more cloudy and it made it difficult. I talk more about snorkeling at the end of this video. All right, let's talk real quick some landscape photography here. As I'm shooting the sunset here, I'm actually going even all the way up to f14. What I'm trying to do is make my shutter as slow as possible so that the water looks really smooth. Remember, if the shutter speed is fast, you're stopping things in motion, so the water's gonna be stopped in air, it'll look really sharp. However, sometimes that effect of like that silkiness to the ocean water can look really, really nice. So what I'm doing is I'm setting my ISO all the way to 50. I'm setting my f-stop to, I started at 11 and then I went all the way up to 14 so that I could just get that shutter super, super slow. I'll see if I like the photos once I edit them. That is a suggestion I have for folks out here shooting the beach like this. For folks that are shooting more on just like an iPhone, no shame in that. Everyone does their thing. The biggest tip I can give you is to align your horizon. You see the horizon there? It should be straight. And all your photos should be straight. If you're gonna post stuff and it looks like this, the ocean looks like that, just looks really bad. So easy tip. Make sure every single photo you take, that horizon is aligned. Follow your rule of thirds. I promise you, you're gonna see drastic improvements in your phone photos with that. All right, I gotta get this stuff out of the way before I start to get soaked in it a little bit. I'm sad, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm sad. Keep in mind that lowering the shutter speed can also make your photos more blurry. So this only really works on days where there is not a lot of wind. If there is a lot of wind, it gets much more complicated where you have to blend different photos at different shutter speeds. A topic for a different video. I hope you guys enjoyed the travel vlog. Before I jump into tips, things you should know, things to potentially avoid, let's just start with where to stay. I went to Maui before like 15 years ago and I stayed in, this time around I stayed in Wailea. If you're planning on going to Maui, there's one key thing you should know, and I'm gonna read it off the HawaiianVacationGuide.com right here. In the Battle of Kihei versus Wailea. Stay in Wailea if you want to stay in one of the big 4-star resorts. Stay in Kihei if you want a more walkable, lively experience and more opportunities to find a vacation rental. That is key if you're looking to stay in Maui. And there were a lot of older places, probably much more affordable than places in Wailea. The Marriott I stayed at was built a year ago. Depending on your interests, who you're going with, how long, you may want to choose one side of the island versus the other. All right, so main things, and then I'm going to talk about things that you should do if you're on a budget, and then I'm going to talk about things that you can do if you're not on a budget, so lucky you. Let's start with some main things you need to know. The first is, as I mentioned earlier as well, man, Maui is really expensive. Every time we went out to get breakfast, whatever it was a $50 to $60 to sometimes $90 total bill for 2-3 of us. I was really surprised. I spoke to a few different people in Maui about this, and they mentioned that because the island was closed, as people who live there, the island was closed for almost a year, and everyone lost revenue, and this is their chance to recover some of that lost revenue because of COVID. So even the tours that you would see the advertisement from saying, oh, you know, $50, you get there and you say, I want to buy a ticket, and they're like, it's actually $70 now. Everything was more expensive than what was advertised. And in general, things were just so expensive. I also covered this in the video a little bit before, but I mentioned, look, a little bit more affordable, still nice. However, it does rain more on that part of the island. So if you're visiting in non-summer months, Wailea may be a better option for you, unless you want to wake up and just travel an hour south. Not that big a deal. But when I was there, it didn't rain at all in Wailea, and it rained a lot in like the half hour we spent in Lahaina up there. Something to keep in mind. And the third thing you really gotta know is the island has its own rules. So us coming from California, we had to sign. There was a Safe Travelers account I had to make. I had to upload a bunch of information along with my vaccination records. There's a lot of information they asked for. Now, the requirements and you know, you can come in if this and that can change, but it's important to realize that it may not be as lenient as your state. Those are the 3 really main things you gotta know. Now, if you're on a budget, pretty simple. National and state parks. National Park, Haleakala State Park. So excited to cross that off the list. The volcano was amazing. $30 a car. You can spend a couple of hours up there. You can, if you want to spend more, you can even pay to do those bike tours where you bike all the way down the volcano. Makena State Park. There's the Bamboo National Forest that we did not visit, but I've heard really great things about. There's a lot of really nice, less costly things to do in Maui that include visiting those national and state parks. Number 2, whale watching and the aquarium. They are in the same place in Maui, and I'll put a picture of it right here. The aquarium was about $40 a person. However, if you have kids and they like ocean and the fish, they're gonna love this place. This aquarium is not something small. It's pretty significant, and they have everything from sea turtles, just all the things you can imagine. It's all fish that are native to the area nearby. It's absolutely beautiful. Definitely recommend. Whale watching was about $135 for the both of us. When you factor in that it's like 2 to 3 hours, it's really not that much per hour. And there was a lot of whale activity, so we really enjoyed that trip. Lastly, the road to Hana. I did that last time I was in Maui. I did not do it here. Now they sell those t-shirts, I survived the road to Hana for a reason. That is not an easy road. A lot of people get really sick on that road. There's a lot of waterfalls, a lot of just beautiful, beautiful things on the road to Hana. It is a 4 to 5 hour thing to do. And when I asked the locals there, like, what do you guys think? Like, if somebody's coming here, they can do one thing and that's it and leave. Nobody said road to Hana. A whole bunch of them said Haleakala National Park. Definitely a must visit. You can get up there for sunrise, which you need reservations as well. Road to Hana, beautiful. We didn't do it this time. Probably not so costly when you factor in just gas. Now the unprecedented 4th tip, okay? If you guys want to do some of the fancier things, you can go to those tickets for less. Most of them have a catch. I didn't have enough time, nor did I really want to, but a lot of the times, people I spoke with, you can basically go and watch an hour-and-a-half presentation, and then they give you, the tour at like half the price. So if you're willing to do that, that's totally an option. I'll tell you my experience. Both places I visited wanted me to sit for an hour-and-a-half presentation on a travel booking website. So they didn't care if I bought anything, they just wanted to show it to me, make sure I signed up, I loved it, blah, blah, blah. And then the tickets for everything were much, much more reasonable. So if you want to stay on budget, attend one of those presentations, completely up to you. And very quickly, the 3 things you want to do if you want to just ball out. Helicopter tours. Man, I've seen some videos, some pictures, they showed it to me. It looks absolutely amazing. You're probably paying $500 to $600 for 2 people. It's a lot of money for a 45-minute helicopter ride. Worth it? Probably, if you can spend that amount of money. Snorkel tours. You might be thinking, really, this is on the list? You guys saw the video of me snorkeling at Ulua Beach. Because of the rain, it looked horrible. I didn't see anything. I even went a little bit further out, nothing. So maybe this isn't a big deal in the summertime. But I did talk to some places for snorkeling. Unless you're trying to just go on the beach, they take you to the appropriate places where you will have your mind blown by the amount of sea creatures underwater. They were like $300 and something per person for a snorkel tour. Because a lot of them were 4 to 5 hours long. They included breakfast and lunch because they had to drive the boat out to God knows where, drop you off, sit there for 2 hours, drive back. It was a whole thing. So if you really want to get some solid snorkeling in, and the local beach down the street from the hotel is not cutting it, and you're not on a budget, check out those snorkel tours. I guarantee you are gonna see some amazing things in that water. And the last thing here is just fine dining and a luau. You may be able to find a cheap luau, but the really good ones that I saw, I didn't attend one, but that I saw, were about $150 to $250 per person for a luau. It's a whole show. It's not just food, it's a whole show. Again, if you're not on a budget or that's part of your budget, I would definitely recommend. I remember seeing one last time I went. It was beautiful. The Hawaiian culture is amazing, and it's so cool to see it kind of live in action, right? There's a lot of really nice restaurants, especially in Wailea as well. But again, I go back to this, very, very expensive. I hope this video helped you guys out and you got a little taste of what's waiting for you. And if you have been or a local and you want to drop a comment with other recommendations, please feel free to do so. I would love to hear if I missed something. As always, thanks again for watching the video, and I'll see you guys next week.